Hello everyone, welcome back to the Road to 2000 chess series. My name is Shaxter Jackson, and it's been a while since I uploaded because I've been more studying than playing at recent times. But recently I played in a tournament online and I did really good in it. I came third place overall out of like 100 people. So we're just gonna go dive into some of the games. So the first game I did was against a 300 rated player, which doesn't seem very fair, but it started with started with e4 c6 and the Carol Khan. This is the opening I've been studying up most on, like the Panabotnik, the Karpov, the Advanced, and what else is there? The main line. Well, no, that's Karpov. Never mind. But yeah. So they did the knight f3. Because they're 300, they don't know what the Carol Khan is, so they try to go for like a fianchetto. So it just takes the pawn and they blunder the knight. And the rest of the game is kind of just smooth as butter. Just kind of just going to take away the moves, just getting pieces out, trading everything down, grabbing pawns, attacking things, grabbing pawns, developing. And it wasn't too much of a challenge. I just kind of swept them away, traded everything off, and then I queened for a simple checkmate. So that's the first game. I definitely should have won that. It was very easy. And then the second game was against a former 1700. He's gone underneath 1700 now. And also started with a Carol Khan. This time he knows what he's doing, so we entered an exchange. This is kind of, it's not mainline, it's definitely transposition, but because they didn't go with the, oh my god, the Botnik attack, I just drew my bishop on f5, threw the knight out, e6, solidifying the position, and then trade off the... Now, here's a weird move. Once I traded off the bishop, I was expecting the queen takes. This was a very weird move, and it kind of bit him in the ass later on in the game. So, bring the knight out, he castles, bring the knight out, he tries to pin my knight, but I unpin myself. And he brings the rook to e1. I castle, get it out of the way of the rook. And they attack my b pawn. So I bring the queen over, queen c7. And they try to start an attack on the queen side. So I just kind of give myself some safe space with the b5 square, blocking the knight from entering. Bring the rook down, and then they bring both rooks over. So now we're at a kind of alright-ish position. And what I do here is I'm going to bring, well, firstly, they lost a pawn in the center. But what they're looking to do is they're just looking to go all out with an attack. So I take the pawn. They don't take back with the knight for some reason. Because the thing is, if they took back with the knight is I take back with my own knight and then I'm forking the queen and rook. And that's basically just a winning position. It'd be very hard to fall off from that. And so they bring the queen back, even though, so they can't even take with the knight still. I don't know what they're trying to do there. Bring the bishop back, and then just kind of bring pieces out, bring rook out, and then I trade off the knight because when they bring the queen over to here, they're going to start bringing the knight over to the king as well, and that's kind of, I don't like that. I just find it very risky. So trade these off, and I trade off my bishop for the knight, and we enter a heavy piece endgame. Because they're 1700, I'm around mid 1400, low 1500. I've been basically spamming for a draw for a while now. I've been just hoping for a draw because I didn't expect the results I got here. So just bringing the queen over to attack things. They bring the queen back over, and I bring my rook over to try to get some control on the center file. They bring the rook down. I don't know why they did that, and I'm going to bring my rook over and maybe double up. I'm not sure exactly. It depends what they're doing. I'm also defending the e pawn in case of future attack. So here they're threatening checkmate in one with the queen, as you can see by the arrows. So of course I don't blunder that. I play f6. This is a mistake. That just loses the pawn. Apparently the move is e5, which also loses a pawn. Oh no, sorry, I forgot. That's mate in 2. Bring the rook over there. So that just loses the pawn because I can't take back because the rook's blocking the pawn. So that's on my end. I end up making the exact same mistakes. I'm playing a bit fast now, and they just take with the queen. So I'm down a pawn now, so I'm kind of losing a bit. So I bring the rook over and just to pressure everything and try to threaten the pawn. That was why I was looking at the b pawn, not the f pawn. So what to do instead is a blunder mate in 2, which I unfortunately miss because I wasn't looking at the f6 square. I just kind of in my head thought it was defended. So bring the rook over to attack. They bring the queen over. I take the pawn. And they're going to start an attack on the king. So bring my rook back and I bring the rook back just to get more control on the e pawn, and I check the king because it's now open. They bring the king over, and I pin the rook to the king. This makes the position very hard to kind of move around since one of your pieces is just completely stuck while the queen's defending basically everything. So they bring the rook over, and I'm starting to target the a pawn since there's not too much of an attack at the moment. Bring the queen over, and I offer a queen trade. If this happens, I don't think white has a chance of winning. It's going to be very kind of easy enough draw. Sure, there's equal pawns. Apparently it's winning for white with rook takes g7, which I don't really understand. I don't know what the kind of threat is. Oh no, sorry. It's trading off, so it'll be... Okay, I didn't see that. So it'll be 2 rooks versus queen, which... Yeah, it's not too good, but oh well. So after queen trade, they don't see the mistake, and I play rook a3 attacking the queen. That gives a bit of an advantage back to white, but that's okay. It's only a small bit. And I'm just trying to kind of pressure back on, again pinning the rook to the king. They bring the rook over, and I decide to go for a queen versus rook endgame. So I take the rook, take back. And now my opponent here was low on time. He's around 20 seconds to about a minute from this position onwards. So I was playing very fast, so I wasn't analysing or taking time because I would have given my opponent time to kind of look through things. So they bring the queen over. I decide to trade both pawns, and so yeah, it just gets there eventually. They're just starting the rook here. They push the pawn down, or bring the rook up to just solidify myself from any checks. Bring my rook down. I push the pawn. I don't know why exactly I did that. If I had a bit more time, I would have played rook there, but they would just play queen b6, and we would have played on from here. a5, if takes, and that's pretty solid for me. So where are we here? So h5, what they're looking to do is they're just trying to make a queen as fast as they can. And now I play rook c4, they take, and they're starting the rook again. And I'm going to transfer the rook down, so I'm bringing the side going down, and then I'm going to defend the h file, as you can see here. I didn't go to h8, I went to g7, because if I went to h8, I don't know why, but just in the moment I felt very like, what's the issue with rook? Oh yeah, sorry, no, the queen just 6, sorry. So I played rook g8, and they bring the queen up. Sorry, misclick. They bring the queen up. Bring the rook back, threatening the h-pawn, and I threaten the queen, push them back, lock the queen out a bit, but that brings me to a few checks. So we get around here, I bring the rook over, king over, push pawn, and I'm basically winning here. It'd be very hard down around 10 seconds here. Takes, take, main check, and then threaten thing on the queen to c7 check. Now they're winning. Bring the rook to block, take. And now I hung my rook here to queen takes h8 check. This is short on time. Where were we? Bring it over. I think around here I hung a rook. I can't remember where I did it. Now I don't know why they didn't take the pawn here. Really, I just don't. Anyways, bring the king over. Now here's where I hung the rook. Queen takes. So that happens. But then they bring the king down, and that's just queen. It's free queen. Queen comes over. They hang their own queen in their own time, and rook takes. And it's GG. They lost on time here. So that's my first win against the 1700. I was feeling very good after that. And the next game is also against the 1700. The rest are from that. So d4, d5, c4, and we enter a Queen's Gambit declined. Bring the knight out. They bring the bishop out. I'm just going to exchange over in the center just so that there isn't any issue kind of later on with that c-pawn. Bring the knight out, pin the knight. They bring the bishop out. Pawn push, solidifying the center. Knight out, bishop out. And I take here, and this is kind of around the opening. We've been kind of out of the opening. This is kind of where the middle game really started. One thing to note is that I'm just out of that like bullet game as the last game, not bullet game, that previous game as the last one to finish. So I was straight sent into this game and it's still kind of in very fast paced mode, so I wasn't calculating as much. But I think it was back here when they took, that is a complete blunder to Queen a4, forking the king and rook. I would have won this game if I had that. That would have been just very easy win. So they push the pawn. I want to get that bishop out, but they kind of like a weird danger level things, but I just bring my knight out. Bring the bishop back. I push the pawn. They push the rook. I push the queen. Apparently this is a blunder. In my kind of fast pacedness, I kind of briefly calculated this, but the attack on my queen scared me. But apparently there's just knight takes and you're fine. Even if they take here, it's just simple as, and you're kind of alright. But I just got a bit scared here, so I took with the bishop. That's apparently not as good, but I'm still winning kinda. They take, and I basically lost all my advantage with this move. I don't understand how. I think they just now the engine really wants the knight to take. Yeah. So I kind of screw up here, and this is kind of the beginning of the end. They bring the queen over, bring the bishop over, and this is just checkmate now. Blundered mate in 4, bring bishop over, and checkmate. So this game was kind of just like a slap in the face, just kind of wake up, and then we go on to the next game. This game was also against the 1700, just kind of like mid 1700 start of it. So we enter another Caro-Kann, this time with the advanced variation, bring the bishop out, and they counterattack. So we solidify the center, so if they take, I just take back with the c-pawn. They push their own c-pawn, so I push b6, and position's already equalized, which is pretty good for black. And then they kind of do a small mistake here by pushing b-pawn, a5, they take, and I take here. So this is winning by about -2, because when they take here, when they took here, they basically split up everything. Bishop takes c5 is very winning here, and then there's also rook takes, but then it's just kind of, it's not as good, but it's also really solid still. So going so far so good. I really didn't feel like these players at 1700. I kind of smacked them around very easily. So yeah, I know. And then like I'd lose to like 1400s at my level. It's just, and then 1700s here just did really bad. So bishop takes. Bishop comes out defending the pawn here. I bring the knight out looking to take the center. They give it to me for some reason. I don't know why. This player didn't really seem to be in a good mood today. But instead of taking with the knight for some reason, I just decided to fork it with my bishop, and well, not even fork, just like threaten / pin the knight to the rook. So to bring the rook over, I bring the knight over. They push the knight. I take their own knight, and I do a small mistake here. That's just how I felt personally. Small bit of a mistake. When I bring the knight out, I just castle and rook takes. So it's not as winning, but it's still pretty solid winning, because I got all my pieces developed, and that the doubled H pawns aren't very good in this position. So I push H6. That's just because I didn't like the idea of this bishop pin or the knight coming in later. So that's apparently an inaccuracy. What the engine wanted me to do is play bishop g4, pinning the knight to the queen. I wouldn't have done that in any game, to be honest. So, h6, and they do the same, h3. Oops, sorry. And this, I bring the bishop over. What I'm hoping for is when they push the pawn here, is I take, and they did a blunder here by pushing the pawn, so that when I took the knight here, I played knight e5, and that's forking the queen and rook. So they move the queen, move it down here, and threaten h pawn. So what they're trying to do here is they're just trying to go out on a massive assault with everything they have. But what they do wrong here is they go way too early. They don't prep at all. So I just play knight e4, forking the queen and bishop. And then I don't know why I didn't take here. Oh wait, no. It's because when h6 takes, if I did, let's say this, this would be pretty scary. Something like h7, and then just like pushing that h4 pawn, that'd be very scary, and it probably leads checkmate to fuck something up in the process. So instead here, I just took with the knight, and they bring the rook over. This blunders knight e5. It's just attacking the queen. They bring the queen back, and supported by the other knight, I fork the king and rook. They bring it over, and then attack the queen. They bring the queen over. I take the bishop. They take the king, and I fork, and they resign in this position because they not have a chance of winning this. I'm up a lot of pawns. I'm up a rook, and I'm about to take even more pawns. So that was the third game. I was feeling very confident after this one, and then this was the last game, I think, and this is what got me to third place. So d4, d5, c4, queen's gambit as per usual. They play the Albin gambit. Now I still need to study up on this. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing when it comes to this, but I take with c pawn, and I attack the queen. Takes, and I basically, if they don't play this, or if they don't play bishop over, I'm just threatening the fork here, and I win a rook. I'll also go to win back the pawn on d4, but my knight's very awkward. That's just how I felt with it, but it's alright. So take back, bring my pieces out. Now, I didn't want the bishop to take here because I felt like they're just going to play c5 and kind of get like a big pawn push. So bring the knight back, attacking the bishop, wanting to hopefully trade that. They of course bring the bishop back. I bring my bishop out. They bring theirs out, and I bring my knight back to d4, attacking their light squared bishop. Short castles, take the light squared bishop. They take back, isolating their e pawn. Alongside castles, and now we're kind of just like entering the middle game with black with this small advantage of like -1. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I think it's just a bigger attack on the pieces, but yeah. So they bring the knight out. I of course do not blunder that. I bring my bishop forward to e3, defending the f2 square, and also applying pressure on the a7 square. They bring the bishop back. I trade the rooks because they're going to trade anyways, and I play b3 just so that any piece can get to b4, because that's going to start bringing huge problems when they start attacking the king. They bring the bishop over. I push the pawn. I bring the bishop out. Not sure why this isn't as good as it says. Apparently c5. Oh no, c5, and then they take the pawn back after rook. Yeah, so that's kind of the issue with bishop there. So bring the bishop out, and then they bring the knight back, and that's just blundering the pawn there. So that brings the advantage back into my corner. They bring the knight back out, bring the bishop back, they take, and they give me double isolated pawns, but it's okay, so I've got an extra pawn. They just start pushing, I don't understand, and I bring my pawns out just to kind of get myself some space and get an attack going. They bring the king forward, I bring the rook over, trade, and they bring the bishop there. So the only way to stop the loss of the a3 pawn is what I do here is knight d4, top engine move. That is also threatening the knight on e4, and if they check on if they check on c3, that's just a fork, and if they check on here, I just attack, threatening the knight. Presumably they're going to go back to something like here, and I bring my knight to c3, and we're all good. So we trade off, they bring the bishop out, knight d4, and they blunder here. They don't see that I revealed an attack on the knight, and they blunder their knight. And then they blunder their pawn. Well, then blunders more like trading. So trade, my knight starts gobbling everything up, bringing all my pieces over to defend. Now I'm pushing my pawn, hoping for a queen. They do bishop h4, and then I do knight h5, basically blocking all movement of the bishop. So push, 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 get a queen. They're trying to last ditches attempt to push. Queen e4, boom, 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 boom. Eat all the pawns up, and they resign in this position because they're not winning. So that's my kind of progression so far. I lost a bit of it in playing games later, just some stupid mistakes and not taking my time. But I'm around mid 1400. After about earlier today, I was around low 1400 because I had a very bad day, and I basically went from 1500 to 1400 in about an hour. I still need to recover from that. But fortunately, I'm getting back there, and I'm hoping to be around 1600. No, well, not 1600. Hope to solidify myself as around 1500 by the time November comes around and the Limerick Open starts. That'd be my goal, to be around 1500 for then, and then be 1600 for December at this rate. At the moment, I'm just kind of doing puzzles, then I play a few games, and then I study opening. At the moment, I'm mostly trying to go through the Caro-Kann defense. That's the opening that needs most work, and then I'm going to be looking into the Queen's Gambit declined. Afterwards, probably the Slav, or maybe even a small bit of Queen's Gambit accepted, once I've kind of mastered the Caro-Kann. Well, not mastered, have it learned off and have a good bit of theory, and like with the Panabotnik attack, kind of learned 13 moves into the e4 variation of it. Hopefully I can remember those, and then kind of have the good ideas on the exchange when it's not Panabotnik, and also have the good enough idea on the advance, and I have enough, and I need to review the main line Karpov variation. So that's kind of progress, and that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.